Just let me know when. Okay. I'd like to call this meeting to order, the Madison Fire District. It is August 16th, 2023. It's 7 o'clock PM. Can I have a roll call, please?
Mr. Adams.
Here.
Mr. Anderson.
Here.
Mr. Donovan.
Here.
Mr.
I'd like to call this
Gontner.
meeting to order,
Mr. Lee.
Madison Fire
Mr.
District.
Wayman.
Here. It is August 16th, pledge of allegiance 3. It's 7 o'clock PM.
I pledge allegiance to
Mr.
the
Adams.
flag
Mr. Anderson.
Here.
Mr. Donovan. Mr.
I'd like to call this
Gontner.
meeting to order,
Mr. Lee.
Madison Fire
Mr.
District.
Wayman.
It is August 16th, pledge of allegiance 3.
I pledge allegiance
Mr. Adams. Mr. Anderson. Mr. Donovan. Mr. Gontner. Mr. Lee. Mr. Wayman.
It is August 16th, pledge of allegiance. It seems to be not working right with the sound system.
He's fixing it.
Okay.
It might be 'cause
Yeah,
he
there's
had
some
it
sort
on
of
the
delay.
phone,
Okay.
too.
First thing on the agenda, we have 3 sets of minutes to approve. We have the minutes of special meeting of July 12th, 2023, regular meeting of July 19th, 2023, and a special meeting of July 28th, 2023. Do I have a motion to approve those 3 sets of minutes?
that motion.
A motion by Mr. Adams. Do I have a second?
I'll second it.
Second by Mr. Wayman. Any discussion at all? All right, roll call?
Mr. Adams.
Yes.
Mr. Anderson.
Yes.
Mr. Gontner.
Yes.
Mr. Lee.
Yes.
Mr. Donaldson.
Yes.
Mr. Wayman.
Yes.
All right, next on the agenda is bills and payroll. We have bills in the total amount of $345,099.54. We have payroll in the amount of $204,733.48 for a total of $549,833.02. Do I have a motion to approve the bills and payroll?
I'll make that motion, Mr. Chairman.
I have a motion by Mr. Anderson. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Lee. Any discussion? Joanne, do you have anything you want to point out?
No, I have nothing on the bills to point out. I mean, we paid the squad out of it, the purchase of the new squad check came out, and then we also paid Richmond and Richmond, which is $24,265.
Yeah, I thought the bill number looked a little bit on the high side from normal. Okay. All right, if there's no other questions for Joanne, can I have roll call?
Mr. Anderson.
Yes.
Mr. Gontner.
Yes.
Mr. Lee.
Yes.
Mr. Donaldson.
Yes.
Mr. Wayman.
Yes.
Mr. Adams.
Yes.
All right, we have the July 2023 financial report. Joanne?
Okay, we began July with $6,634,408.71. Our month-to-date revenue was $623,087.19. That's because we also got a property tax advance of $500,000. Our year-to-date revenue is $3,282,185.20. Our month-to-date expenditures is $587,529.02. The reason it's different than the what we approved by the bill pay was because we had a transfer of funds from general fund to earn benefits. Our year-to-date expenditures is $2,586,058.68. So we began August with $6,669,966.88.
Okay. Any questions for Joanne about the fund summary? All right, I guess not. Thank you, Joanne. You didn't have anything else you wanted to bring? Okay. Next, we have opening public portion, and I don't see any public. So, Lieutenant Fallhammer? Okay. All right, with that, we will move on to legal counsel. Mrs. Dane.
I don't have anything specific to report. I have requested an executive session this evening to discuss pending litigation, and that would be pursuant to ORC 122G3. But that's it.
Okay. Anyone have any questions for Mrs. Dane at all? Okay. Moving on to old business. Do we have any old business at all? No? Okay. We'll move into new business. And I guess, Chief, do you want to talk about that first and then?
Sure. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I believe this was brought up in previous months by Chief Baker, that we were looking to buy a chase vehicle to replace the one up at this station that has over 100,000 miles on it, and it's about 10 years old. Captain Henry was shopping around and yesterday came across one physical vehicle that, I equated to a chupacabra because we hear about them, but we never see them anymore. But they had one physically on a lot at a Fairlawn dealer, a Montrose dealer. So us officers got together the last probably 24 hours here and discussed, hey, will this work? The Chevy Tahoes, and I know some of you have dealt with this at your other responsibilities too at the township and village. We could get on a list that we may or may not get one. They said they're like 560 deep, I heard the number. We would get in that line for a Chevy Tahoe version. The Ford Explorer version, which is the one we're presenting tonight, they don't even allow you to order one right now. I guess there's an opening coming up in the next several weeks to maybe a month. So we could get on a list at some point, and then when it gets here, we don't know. And then there was the Dodge Durango version, which was basically there's none around. We have to get on a list to order that one, and then it'll show up when it shows up. So we as a group just decided, you know what? This one's physically on the lot. The guy's gonna save it for us if we wanna get it, so that's when we started to move on it. And that's why we have the quote in front of us here. We presented one that was with a delivery charge, and then there was one without a delivery charge, which Captain Henry and I talked earlier. We're gonna, if the board would like to approve it, we would physically just go pick it up and save that $150 and be good stewards of the community's money. So the final number was $41,915.64 for the new 2023 Ford Explorer for our new chase vehicle here. I'll take any questions.
What color is it, Chief? Is it red?
It's like a deep red, similar to the one we have now, I believe. They sent us some pictures. I was trying to get it on your folder. It just didn't happen today.
Okay.
Dad duties. I apologize.
Well, I can tell you, and you're absolutely right. I know Mr. Anderson and Mr. Wayman and I, we just had a discussion with the police chief last week about the difficulty in acquiring police vehicles and what's available and what isn't. And as long as we have money, which you and I talked this afternoon, I think if there's money there to buy this, the old bird in the hand is worth two in the bush. And I mean, if there's one there and we can get it, because God knows if we order one, when we'll get one.
Yeah.
And it's one of those opportunities I would think we want to take advantage of if we can get one. So that's my take. Does anybody else have any other comments?
No, I agree with you.
I agree.
Those are hard to find.
Yeah, you
lucky
probably
to
have
get
found
red.
that out.
Yeah.
I have one more thing to add to that, so you guys are aware. This is just for the vehicle itself, so we discussed that as well. There's a lights and sirens and, aftermarket package that has to go on their decals, so that'll come in a later date. We just wanted to get the vehicle physically here, and then we'll get some quotes about how much that's gonna cost. It's probably gonna be in the 5 to 10 range to outfit everything on there, just so you guys are all aware, but we just wanna get the engine, the steering wheel and everything here physically, that way we can go to work on it, so.
No, that's actually a pretty good price too, so, because I know they've been jacking up the prices
Right.
out too,
Yeah.
so I definitely have no issue with this.
Yeah, I thought the price as well, Jay, was a good price.
This sheet says hybrid, it's not a hybrid. is it? I mean, it might, it says it up at the top. Current state contract needed is for a 2023 black hybrid with keyless entry.
That is a good question. We never discussed the hybrid.
That was originally on the quote, and then whoever ordered it, they actually took that. If you look on the right-hand side, you'll see what was
Yeah.
taken off.
Right.
Yeah, there's a,
Oh, they scratched off hybrid?
yeah.
And I'm like, oh, that'd be cool if it was hybrid. Oh, wow.
Yeah, I didn't even-
They took that
Okay,
out of there.
all right, thank you.
Yeah, straight gas, yeah.
Well, is it a feeling of the board, does someone want to make a motion to adopt resolution 2322?
Yeah, makes that motion.
We have a motion by Mr. Adams, do we have a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Anderson. Mrs. Dame, should we read the caption of that resolution?
Yes, Mr. Chairman, it's resolution number 23-22, a resolution authorizing the purchase of a 2023 Ford Explorer Chase vehicle per the attached proposal and specifications in an amount not to exceed $41,915.64 from Montrose Ford as approved and specified through the Ohio Department of Administrative Services, DAS, Office of State Purchasing Cooperative, specifically contract number RS 1010002, and authorizing payments provided pursuant to the contract.
Okay, thank you.
You're
Well,
welcome.
we have a motion by Mr. Adams, a second by Mr. Anderson. Is there any other discussion? Okay, roll call?
Mr. Donaldson?
Yes.
Mr. Wayman?
Yes.
Mr. Adams?
Yes.
Mr. Anderson?
Yes.
Mr. Gantner?
Yes.
Mr. Lee?
Yes.
Okay, chief, we'll go
Thank you.
let them know
Yep.
tomorrow. Did you have anything else on that issue, chief, at all? Or was that it?
I do not know.
Okay. All right, well, chief, you're up, because now it's the chief's report.
All right, Chief's report. We make this as painless as possible for my first official one in this position, so bear with me. Celebrating anniversaries, Lieutenant Al Van Kramer, 35 years. Captain Frank Henry, 24 years. And Inspector Jim Solomosi just passed his 4th year with us. The budget is looking pretty solid. Tax revenue so far, I believe, was at, number change was, we're in about 74% on both that and the EMS revenue year to date. Staffing's been stable, but we do still have a lot of overtime due to the summer vacations and just some people, part-time usually want summers off as well from their other full-time jobs, so we're struggling to bring them into. So we're gonna deal with that at some point. We actually have some calls out. We're setting up some interviews for part-time as well, going forward. Call volume, we're at 330 calls for, that should say July. So it's a pretty high amount for that month. We got here. So we're at 330 for July. Year to date, we're at 2181. We're still on pace to probably do a little bit more than last year. We're within a few, like maybe 5 to 10, so we're right on pace with 2022's numbers. Once the urgent care opens up, though, we're anticipating at least probably 100 to 200, maybe like the last urgent care that was there. So that's going to be a discussion at a later date. But that looks like that's moving along pretty good down there as well.
Chief, have you heard a date for when they're planning to open it?
I have not heard a date yet.
Okay.
I do have a call into EMS coordinators at UH, so once I talk to them, hopefully this week, I'll try to find that date for everyone.
Okay.
Fire inspections are ongoing. Excuse me. New squad, I just got the call the other day. Our new 2132 that we purchased back in May of 22, I believe, that we guys approved last month is going to be here tomorrow at noon. So we're going to outfit that and get it in service as soon as possible. So we'll be back up to 4 squads in our fleet, which is good. New engine 2133, I just talked to Captain Sopko about an hour ago. The dates keep moving. It was November, then it moved up to October, which was exciting, and now he just heard due to the engine issues, it's going back to December. So the engine's going to be a little bit longer. And then I wouldn't even hold your breath for that either. So I'm assuming that'll change again, probably another month. So, but it's on order. It's coming at some point. Buildings, I know Chief Baker, he got the approval for the barn at Station 2 for the new weight room and everything for them down there. I got with Captain Henry. It kind of hit a stall point with just vacations, call volume. Staffing's been at minimum this summer. It's just been hard to get it started. So we met a couple days ago and had some ideas. So they're starting to move on it again. So hopefully I'll have some more to discuss next month as they kind of hopefully get the build phase done, and maybe we can start ordering some equipment and get that close to being done. Had my first officers meeting with the fellas. It went well. They were very supportive. Had a lot to discuss. We got through a good part of it, but didn't get through everything. Most important was obviously the staffing, so we talked about hiring the part-time and getting some interviews set up. We did a social media posting as well. We're working on an easier application process, so we have a Google form that we're working with our IT with, so that we're trying to remove barriers so that it's easier to get people to apply and get them in here and get them vetted and everything. So that's in the works. We discussed backfilling my spot since I'm coming off shift in January like we discussed. So that's going to be coming out at some point too. We'll have to backfill full-time, probably and a couple officers as well. and I'll discuss that as we go through the fall months here. Reporting system vendors, we currently use ERS. They're being bought out or are bought out by ESO, which our people aren't a big fan of. And the quote we got from them was, it's free the first year. When you think about it, we're already paying ERS for their premium, so their free is basically us just paying our ERS for the year. Next year it goes up to $5,000, and I think $7,000 the third year, which we only pay about $35, I think, right now. So we're looking at vendors for a new reporting system as well. They were looking at a target of October 1st. However, I think they're going to support what we have now for at least a year or two, if I'm correct on that, LT. So we have some time to kind of figure this out. I think they were trying to lock us into a 3-year contract, so we're going to slow play this and make sure that what we get is what we want. So stay tuned for that as well. But I'll definitely pass that on to Ms. Dame for review once we get that paperwork. There's emergency networking, which is one, and then what was the other one? First Due? First Due was another vendor, so we have them in the queue as well, the funnel. Other things, Joanne and I discussed, we received that ARPA retention grant that Chief Baker was talking about. I believe they applied for it last year. It came in. We received $78,617.27. We have 30 days to get everything in a line and then accept it, and then there's certain stipulations in order to disperse that as well. So Joanne and I are going to work on that. All the numbers are basically done already. There's a lot of paperwork and information and audit information that we have to send back to them in order to process this, so that hopefully we'll get done here in the next week or so. Still lots to do. The website we have, they're no longer supporting that version of it, so I'm working with Lieutenant Fallhammer and CMH to come up with a new format, so that'll be changing here soon too, so stay tuned on that. But other than that, I believe that is all I have for the Chief's report. Any questions?
Yeah, Chief, just to refresh my memory, the
Yeah.
ARPA retention grant, that was money that we were gonna get that we could give back to those employees that worked here, worked through the pandemic. Is that what that, if I remember Chief Baker talking about it?
Correct,
Okay.
yeah. The number I heard was 10% of the salary, but I think it was based on a $40,000 salary. Anything above that was just a flat fee. So yeah, it was basically just for those that worked during the pandemic and during a certain time period. I don't have that off the top of my head right now. I think it was in 21 or 22 during a certain span,
I
so.
think it was June 21 to June of 22.
Okay, thank you, Lori.
So would that only go to those people that are still here if somebody left?
Correct.
They're not
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay.
Unfortunately, someone missed the cutoff there from what the document states, so it's
Okay.
unfortunate.
And then in checking on that, like him and I were just talking today, there'll be actual physical checks going to the employee, because we have to send it back to them showing that we gave it to them and that it was cash, so it's gonna have to be a physical check to give to them.
Yeah, full circle.
So some employees may not be happy with it.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay. Anybody else have any questions for Chief Meister? No? Okay. That's all you have, Chief?
That's all I got.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Next, we got the closing public portion. And, see any public there, so I don't suppose there's anything to close. So with that, Mrs. Dame has requested an executive session regarding pending litigation pursuant to Ohio Revised Code 121.22G3. Do I have a motion to convene into executive session?
So moved.
A motion by Mr. Lee, do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Donaldson. Roll call?
Mr. Wayman.
Yes.
Mr. Adams.
Yes.
Mr. Anderson.
Yes.
Mr. Gauntner.
Yes.
Mr. Lee.
Yes.
Mr. Donaldson.
Yes.
And it is 7:20, we will convene into executive session.
got your note,
Good.
so thank you much. I'll give him a call probably tomorrow.
Thanks, LT. You gonna hang out for a little bit?
Is it, or should I turn off? Because I feel like a couple times ago when we thought it was not.
Okay, it's 7:25, and I'm going to convene the regular meeting. The board had executive session discussion. There's no action to be taken at this time. Are there any closing board comments? Okay, seeing none, I will entertain a motion for adjournment.
Yeah, that motion.
Motion by Mr. Adams, do I have a second?
I'll second it.
Second by Mr. Wayman. Roll call?
Mr. Adams?
Yes.
Mr. Anderson?
Yes.
Mr. Gauntner?
Yes.
Mr. Lee?
Yes.
Mr. Donaldson?
Yes.
Mr. Wayman?
Yes.
Meeting's adjourned at 7:26.
Nice job, Jim.
Very good.
Hey, good job, chief.
Thank you very much. How did you
Okay, good.
You and I, already? Okay, cool. Yeah, I went up there today, I'm like, hey, yeah, John, I was like, hey, go get
I
your
have the
paperwork.
question.